Hey guys, alrighty, so we are live here. It's been a couple days since we've traded. Oh, hold on, maybe we're not. Now we're live. Alright guys, so just let me know if you guys can hear me and if this is working okay. On my end it's kind of being goofy, but it should be working okay. We have had an interesting 2 days of price action, so I can see in here. Okay. So Wednesday was FOMOC. That was an interesting day. You know, we really didn't get a big move. You know, there was a good breakout, I guess, on ES, but NQ really kind of just stayed in that range. And then yesterday was even more interesting after hours. FOMOC, once we opened, the market did an incredible, almost 400 and I think it was 50-point drop on NQ, down to the 20 EMA support. ES actually did get down there too. And then we had a big divergence in that ES bounced and took out the previous high and closed to the upside. NQ did eventually close with the Broadcom earnings over that 25,802, and then over on ES, our 68, like 90 area was the resistance. So then again today, this is now the second day in a row that I was expecting continuation to the upside, and we're actually getting a little bit more downside than expected here. So again, this is interesting because, you know, for the last, I'd say 2 to 3 weeks now, the bears have been trying their best to take this to the downside, and pretty much every opportunity that they get to take it to the downside has been failing. So the fact that now the last 2 days we have seen the bears aggressively take this lower is quite interesting. But again, like yesterday with that massive wick to the downside, they're not following through, they're not holding it. And a lot of that is really related to the VIX. So if you looked at yesterday, you know, the VIX closed down a good amount, and there was a while there where the VIX was down and NQ was down 1%. So that's quite the divergence and quite interesting to see VIX so low and red like that and see a big drop on NQ. So even this morning here, you know, we're down about 0.5% on NQ. ES really, you could call it flat, down 0.1%, but VIX is only up 0.67%. So, you know, this is again where we're not seeing that follow through with the VIX. The VIX is not leading this downside, and that really is what's causing it to not be sustained. So again, you know, Fridays lately have been quite bearish, so I am interested to see if the bears can finally do something here or not. But right now, overnight, our range is 68.89 to 69.12 and 25, let's see, 5.52 to 25.626. So we are getting a nice rejection here. We are looking at a potential retest of that demand and support. So again, you know, yesterday we had a massive drop right at open. I think that's in play again today, just based on the fact that we rejected there. We are trying to get a bounce off the lows on VIX, which would again support some of that upside or the downside on the market. And now we did break back under the EMAs on ES and NQ here. Looking at the daily, I really do see about probably a retest of the 20 EMA support on NQ right around that 25,475 area, and then on ES 78.75, which is the 8 EMA support, is generally where I'm looking for a retest. So as we open here, we are under the EMA support here. So on NQ especially, I like the rejection. We tested it. We closed under EMAs. Now 25,570 really is our resistance to watch. And as you can see here, we're attempting now to break through the overnight demand and support. That's at 25,552 and then the 68.90 to 68.94 area. If we can close a 5-minute candle under this, our next real levels to watch is that 25,467 to 25,500, and then on ES would be 68.71 area. There is no data this morning, so there's a couple Fed speakers, but no per se data. We do have some sellers here, so the downside looks pretty good. I don't like to short into demand or support like this, and you can see we're kind of bouncing here, and that's why I don't like to short into range support. So I'm looking more or less to see what we do off a back test here. If they break back higher than I'd say 6,900 and really 25,590, likely we're going to go right back up to the range resistance of 25,625 and 6908. If we reject off of this point of control and EMAs here, then again, I think we make another run to the downside here. Trying to be patient, definitely don't want to be early on anything. We don't have a ton of volatility, 26-point range on ES and 205-point on NQ, which does give us a little bit more favorable of entries and potential to not get stopped out. But again, volatility can come in and wreck you, just like here. We pushed a little bit through those EMAs before. Now it looks like we're going to attempt to go lower. VX is attempting to break through its EMAs. VIX is through its EMAs. So again, supporting the downside. But again, I don't love shorting into EMA support, range support from overnight. I do think the play's there, and if you can get in and have your stop loss over this 5-minute candle high of 82, then that would not be a bad short entry. Likely it will play out for you, but there's a good chance they could run this up a little bit higher first. I personally would like to see this maybe close up near that 580 and give us a double top on the 5-minute candle to short lower. That would be a nice entry for me for a short here on this next candle. We also could close under 25,552, and that would also be a good signal for continuation to the downside. But again, I'm just being patient, letting this play out, and not trying to get stopped before the move happens here. I would consider a long if we closed over 6902 and I'd say 25,596, but I don't think the upside is very good because then you only have upside to that 6908 and 25,626 area. So not a much reward for the risk there. Okay, we got 10 seconds to close here. We are, as of now, holding under the EMAs, under point of control, so that is a good rejection. There's a tiny little bit of buyers that came in here, but they can get slapped down to sellers. So this is, again, where I would love to see a back test off of really up here at about 85 area and then a rejection, and that would set up the short opportunity. I would like to see VIX pushing up a little bit more, but I do think this sets up a good short. Now again, same thing here. If we break through 6901 and 25,590, then likely the short's invalidated, and this is going to push, excuse me, to the upside here. So here's our test. This is where we have to reject. So VX is getting sold off now. VIX is also trying to sell off. So this is starting to shift to a favor of the upside. Sorry. There is a little bit of buying, like I said, coming in. So now we're breaking through that 25,590. So again, I start to favor now that we're going to retest 625 area and 6908 area. We could see a big wick rejection here. I'll look to see if ES follows through here or if they kind of push down and pull NQ back down with it. But as of right now, I'm still looking at the short, but we're starting to favor the potential on the next 5-minute candle of playing a breakout. So ES is now following through. That VX just got pushed down to low of day actually. VIX is not quite to low of day, but it did get a hard rejection off its EMAs. So this again, following the VIX, because VIX has been pretty much the culprit of why we cannot continue lower. Following that, we're looking good for some upside here. I again would like to see this closure on the 5-minute over the 590 and 602 area. 6902 area to really trust the upside. We very well could see a hard wick rejection. You know, you see it kind of right now starting to threaten. That would be a good sign of a short if they can, in the next minute and a half, bring this back to a red 5-minute candle. That would open up the short opportunity. But I don't know if I would like to take the short opportunity just because VIX and VX are pushing lower now. We do have some buyers. They're not aggressive, so they can get easily rejected here. But we're starting to push through resistance now. So that favors the upside after the overnight range support was tested. ES is trying to come back down. I don't think it's going to be able to get red, but it might. Despite the daily on NQ looking more bearish than ES, currently I would say that NQ is what's driving this higher more so than ES is. Wow, Broadcom down almost 8%. It's impressive. VX just hit low a day. All right, so now we just broke through on ES and NQ the 5-minute ORB support. So that was at 6901 and 25,588 area. So what I would like to see here is a back test off really 6,900 and 25,880. If 88, sorry. If we can come down, test that ORB support, and get a nice little bounce, and the little bit of buyers that are almost aggressive now continues to come in, and VX and VIX continue to fall lower, we are going to get a nice long opportunity. Stop. Again, the first target would be 626. I do think we will likely break through. Oh, wow. Okay. I don't know where that just came from. Sorry, 1 second, the dog. Sorry, stupid dog who likes to bark at everything possible. I don't know where that just came from. That was interesting. Hold on. Okay, so again, I like the long there. I'm not sure where that rejection just came from. That was quite interesting. But we're bouncing. So not a good play here. It's starting to look like they might try to take this lower. I'm not really seeing VIX bite though. VIX is really still pushing downward, not upward. So that gives me a little bit of hesitation of a short here. Also, we do not have sellers. We actually have buyers, just weaker now. So I'm a little patient here, but that is a big rejection that's starting to look like it wants to continue lower. So 25,552, that is our key support to watch here on the 15-minute candle. ES is definitely more bearish than NQ right now. It is below its previous 15-minute candle low. NQ is doing a good job of holding it. I do think we're going to maybe see a follow through here the last minute to the downside. It's tempting to take a short, but again, it's not quite A+ yet. I'd like to see where this candle closes. I do think you might be able to take a short down to about the 28 area, but I think the next, the move would be to wait for this 15-minute candle to close, see if we can get a little bit of a back test off the upside, and then take the short. So remember, 69.90 to 68.90 to 68.94 and 25.552. That is our overnight range and support. So that's the key level to watch. So we did just close pretty much right on those levels. I'm liking a little bit of downside here based on sellers. Sellers did come in now. We have kind of the same setup as the opening 15-minute candle where we're right below that 15-minute 5 EMA, so that's at 565. VIX and VX are trying to bounce, but I do worry that this could go right back to 58.88 area first and then push lower, but the downside does look pretty decent here. Okay, I'm going to take the short.
Order filled.
That was an awful fill, but I took the short here. I'm looking for 25,501 here.
Stop filled.
Okay, so I got stopped out there. Well, some of mine are still in. Okay, now everybody got stopped out. That was a bad fill. That was not a great fill. I still like the downside. I think I just had a bad fill there. So now we are testing that 15-minute 5 EMA resistance once again here to see if this is going to push lower.
Order submitted.
I tried to get in the short there, but it looks like they're going to go without me. See if they can come back up and tag me.
Order
Okay, let's get in. Up 20 here. I like this to go, so I'm gonna let my stop loss kind of run here. So 501 is our first target, and then we have 4668. So looking for a pretty good drop here. Okay, we can go ahead and set that break even now. How is it missing my stop loss? You guys seeing that? That's weird.
Stop filled.
Well, I got 20 points there, so I'm back to break even, but I don't know why that missed my stop loss like that. That was odd. Yeah, that was weird. I'm not sure what to think about that. Alright, so we got 15 seconds to close here. We are now closing under 5-minute ORB support on both ES and NQ. We did hit 501, so I'm looking for at least 468 here probably, and 68.71. I would like to see a little bit of a bounce here, and I'm going to try to get in another short here. VIX and VX both are popping to the upside here now. 25,529 is the 5-minute ORB. That would be a good retest and rejection to try and get back in short.
Order submitted.
Okay, I'm short here now. I think everybody got in. Yeah, everybody got in. Nope, not everybody got in.
Order filled.
Okay, everybody's in now. Okay, ES leading the downside here. NQ also got the rejection. I mean, it was perfect right off of the ORB resistance, about 2 points. So VX and VIX are pushing up here. We got stronger sellers. This is a pretty much A++ play for me. Might not play out, but I like the A+ play here. Well, and there's a little more pop than I was expecting. So, okay, stopped out. Interesting. Failed downside. Well, I did like the short, and I have no problem getting stopped out on that one. You know, that was pretty A+ for me. You know, we had back tested off of ORB. We had stronger sellers. VX and VIX were also pushing up. I mean, there's not a much better play I would want to take than that one for the short. It just didn't work out. So now we start looking at, are we going to push higher? If you look at NQ, we're forming a really nice double bottom off that 25,552 area here. So that does favor some upside. ES, though, is still leading downside here. So this might just be a real big stop-loss hunt to the upside here. But if we break through 25, call it 570, then again, I do think we push higher. Okay, we have 50 seconds till this 5-minute candle closes. I am personally wondering if they're going to double top this on the 5-minute candle and sell this right back down. If they don't, then this is probably going back to 625 to retake that wick from whatever weird downside move we got on the last 15-minute candle here.
Order submitted. Order filled.
Okay, I went and took the short here, looking for that double top rejection. I think everybody got in. This is a good pump or die spot here. I was looking at ES that was rejecting us lower initially, but now it's actually kind of pushing. But this is a really good rejection spot. It's right off point of control. It's right off the 5-minute 20 EMA, 15-minute 5 EMA. So this could be a really good big rejection to the downside. I would like this to play out, so I'm going to move my stop loss back to its normal upside here. So it'd be nice if we go back to 501. It's very possible that we do. And if we get back to 501, then I do think we're going to get to that 468 that I was looking for. Big bounce here, though. They're trying to push it up now. If this 15-minute candle closes over 552, I do think they're going to take this back to 625. If we close under 552, I'm looking again for 468. I think this is a big setup candle here for probably the next 30 to 45 minutes of playtime. I like the ES rejection. ES is now pushing lower. It looks like we survived the stop loss hunt, so now we should eat on this play. I do like 501, but again, I think we could go much, much lower. I doubt we go this low, but I'm going to just go ahead and set a big take profit in case we get a massive flash down. ES is still more bearish than NQ today. Interesting, based on the dailies, you think it would be opposite, and also the fact that Broadcom is down almost 9% now. You would think that ES would be stronger, like it has been the last couple of weeks, and the NQ would actually be the weak one. So that does make me a little nervous, knowing that ES has been stronger, but it is doing a good job right now of trying to hold NQ down. So again, I do think we're going to see NQ flash down here to join ES. VIX is also supporting us now. So again, good play here. I'm happy to take it. If I get stopped out, I get stopped out. It is what it is. But this is a nice play. We got a good entry, good stop loss. Lots of room for profit. It's got a big profit target. So just a matter of letting it play out and see where this one goes. So ES closed back under ORB. NQ still up to the upside. I like this short here, though. This is a really perfect play here. We get the double top with the wick. This should, as long as it breaks 540 right here, this should be a really, really strong downside move. go. Okay, see if we can keep going lower. Nice. All right, trying to get some more here. Go, 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 go. Don't come get me. Keep going. A little bit more. Come on, baby. Here she goes. There she goes. Good stuff. Up 40 points. Looking for some more. Definitely being greedy. I have a nice break even at 30 points either way. I'm looking for a bigger flush here, though. Okay, stopped up for 30 points. Okay, so back green on the day. Up 100 and something bucks in all my accounts. Again, trying to get about 600 in my accounts. So we'll be looking for that. So again, though, big bounces here. Definitely difficult to get this to keep playing to the downside. They continue to buy this up, though.
Order filled.
Okay, I'm back short here. Looking for 468. That is kind of my level I'd really like to see hit. That's my next big target. We'll see if we get it or not. Excuse me. So 475, that would put me right at my daily profit goal where I want to be. We'll put it up a little bit higher so my consistency doesn't get jacked up. But 501 breaks and 462 happens. Sorry, 468. VX and VIX are pushing up. ES broke its low. NQ should break its low. We're getting stronger and aggressive sellers on both ES and NQ. Again, pretty much A plus short here. I don't see a reason why we won't go lower. But it's been getting bought up like crazy, so we got to be careful of that aspect. But if we get stopped out, we get stopped out. Again, A plus play for me. I'm happy to take it. Happy to get stopped out if it doesn't play out. Once we break this 501, again, this should be a big, big flash straight down. Okay, again, I want my profit to hit this time, so I'm happy to sort of move my take profit up. And by take profit, I mean stop loss. Okay.
Order filled.
Boom, I'm out. $900 in all 14 accounts. Whew, not a bad morning, guys. Been a rough week with these evals and stuff, so very much so happy to be back on the right side of the trading here. So, all right, fam, I will see you guys on Monday.